tragitto nel barca e dopo un po' di tempo libero e dopo torniamo. We are here 25 kilometers, so let's say about 16 miles northwest of Amsterdam. We are at the spot where the North Sea Canal ends in the North Sea, and the North Sea Canal was dug 150 years ago to make the shortest connection from Amsterdam to the sea. Because in the past, in our heyday in the 17th century, the merchants from Amsterdam did not go this way because the canal wasn't there yet. They went via a bay in the north of the country, which was called the Zuiderzee. Maybe you heard about that in history lessons. Via the Zuiderzee they went all over the world in the 17th century. But since 150 years almost we have this North Sea Canal, and that's how the ships go nowadays. When you look at your map, you see that the outer half of the city is all like an onion. Semicircles of canals. That's how the city was made 4 to 5 times bigger in the 17th century. Amsterdam è un mezzo circolo, è un cerchio, mezzo cerchio. È cresciuto 5 volte nel 600, da 50.000 a 220.000 abitanti. Nella mappa si vede il cresciuto di Amsterdam sono mezzi cerchi. At 11 o'clock, the semicircular building and the glass building in front of it, that's the Van Gogh Museum. And now at 11 o'clock, the big building in the far is the Rijksmuseum, the National Museum, which has all the paintings of Rembrandt, of Vermeer, yeah. And so the Rijksmuseum, the National Museum, with the Dutch realism paintings of the 17th century. The Dutch painted everyday life scenes, which is very different from paintings in other countries, because that's where in other countries you had kings and nobility in the church, and they wanted biblical stories to be painted or mythological stories, but we just wanted to have paintings of everyday life. That's typical for the Dutch painting of the 17th century. Dutch realism, very, very beautiful, and it's all in the Rijksmuseum. And of course Van Gogh is famous. He was the first expressionist. He developed his own style. He expressed himself, and so you couldn't tag him in his days. He was avant-garde. He changed everything, and yeah, you could call him, looking back in retrospective, you could call him the first expressionist. Yeah, okay. Let me first introduce my colleague behind the wheel. His name is Winfred. He's the captain, and he happens to come from the same town originally where I'm from, which of course is a gem that you all must visit. It's the town of Deventer. It's a Hanseatic town. And the sun is coming out. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah? C'è una stazione, stazione centrale dei treni, e lo stabilimento qua a sinistra. This is the train station with the arches. Train station of Amsterdam. Noi abbiamo iniziato un po' a destra dello stabilimento grande, della stazione. E si vede la città medioevale che è come un piccolo uovo collegato con la stazione, dunque l'uovo allungato nella mappa, e dopo nel 600 hanno cresciuto la città con semicerchi, capite? Dove sono i piani? Con i semicerchi. Questa è la città del 600 e la parte piccola come un ovo è la città medioevale. Ok, la città ha cresciuto da 50.000 a 220.000 abitanti. Dunque il fatto Amsterdam è da qua, così, come un cipolla. Capite? So from here Amsterdam is like an onion, with all the different layers. Like a semicircle on that side, behind the train station. Got it? That's how Amsterdam looks like. So it's very easy to find your way in town, only you have to remember which house number you have, because the canals, like the biggest one, it has one name. So when you have to be at number 1 or number 680, you have to know beforehand, otherwise you have to walk all the stretch. Dovevano fare chiudere le finestre, non c'era luce, perché nessuno questo è il museo dei barchi di navigazione. E questa è una copia, this is a copy of a trade ship of the 18th century. Questa è una copia di una nave mercante del 700 e si chiama l'Amsterdam. Ci vede il dio Mercurius, il commercio, e il dio del mare Nettuno. You see Neptune, the god of the sea, and Mercury, the god of trade. And of course, that's what Amsterdam did, huh? Trade all over the world. In the first half of the 17th century, I always have to say that to English groups, in the first half of the 17th century, Hollandia ruled the waves. And the second half, Britain ruled the waves again. Nella prima metà del 600, Hollandia è il paese più ricco del mondo e dopo gli inglesi sono tornati e i francesi. È una copia, non è originale. L'originale è sul suolo del mare vicino a Hastings in Inghilterra. This is a copy. The original is on the bottom of the sea near Hastings. But we still had the drawing. Avevamo il disegno, abbiamo. Immaginare 350 persone in una nave così, 350 people on a ship like that, and then being away from home for a few years, you know. Now see all the houses, they're completely leaning. It's a nice picture, eh? Queste case, ma ci sono tanti, ma questo è un buon esempio di case ballante, yeah? Here you can see them on the left now at 10 o'clock, the dancing houses. They're supporting each other, yeah? And when it really gets bad, then there are special grounding techniques, yeah? On the left side, we go very slowly so you can see a bit. On the left side, Madame Tussauds, you know, the wax figures museum. On the left side, that's the old city hall of Amsterdam, built in 1648. When Amsterdam was so rich, they built at that time the biggest city hall in the world. Nowadays it's a royal palace, it belongs to the royal family, but actually it's the city hall of 1648 on the left side, with the green dome. The church at 10 o'clock is the new church. It used to be the St. Catherine's Church in the Catholic times. And on the right side you see a monument to remember the war victims. On the left side, the train station, built in the water. We saw the back side, the front side is much more beautiful. Built in 1889. A sinistra la stazione centrale del 1889, stile del neo-rinascimento, neo-renaissance style, train station of Amsterdam. And coming up on the right, I mentioned it before in the boat, this is the new St. Nicholas Church. When it was allowed in the 19th century to build Catholic churches again, that's what they did. And they built them in very opulent neo style. This is a neo-baroque St. Nicholas Church.